Good morning, class. Today we're going to be talking about comparing and contrasting. We can compare and contrast to images, we can compare and contrast to songs, to stories. So today we're going to talk about what is comparing and contrasting and how we compare and contrast different things to create a Venn diagram. So when you think of how two things compare to each other, what other words might come to mind? You might think about how they're similar, how they are alike, or maybe even what is the same. So let's say you were looking at two yellow cats. If you were looking at them, what's going to be the same about them? The fact that they're cats and the fact that they're yellow. So now that we've talked about how to compare something, let's talk about how we contrast something. So different words that might come to your mind for contrasting could be how they are different. Oops, sorry about that. How they are different. What is not the same. So if you were looking at these cats again, maybe you might notice that one of the cats has brown eyes, the other one has green. That would be a contrast between the two. So what we're going to do now is we want to look at a simple image and talk about the things that compare and the things that contrast, and then we'll move on to a more complex image so that when you come to class and we are reading our stories that we want to compare and contrast, you will have a better understanding and you'll be able to do it. So if we look at this image right here, obviously we have apples and we have oranges. So the first thing that um, we want to look at is the differences. So obviously a difference would be that this is an apple. What else is different between an apple and an orange? Well, you might say that the apple has a stem on the top in this picture. And maybe you would say that the apple is red. The apple has thin, shiny skin. Awesome. So now let's look at the orange. So now we want to take the orange and see what's different about it, what it has that the apple doesn't. So obviously it's an orange. Also, you could say it's orange colored. So now you want to think about, we said that the apple had thin skin. What kind of skin does an orange have? Thick, thick skin or a peel. Awesome. So now let's look and think about how they're similar. So they're both fruits. They both grow on trees. And they both give juice. So now what you would do to create a Venn diagram is the things that we just wrote here, that they're both fruits, grow on trees, and give juice, would go right here in the middle. Now let's look at a more complex image. So if we want to think about the similarities between SpongeBob and this minion, we could say that they are both yellow. Maybe you'd notice that both are smiling or that both arms are out. Is there anything else that you notice? Maybe you notice that they're both wearing clothes. So let's talk about differences. So let's just look at SpongeBob. So jumping in the air, blue eyes, obviously that he's a sponge. He's wearing a suit and is underwater. So now let's look at the minion. So the minion has brown eyes, one foot in the air. He is wearing gloves and he is wearing overalls. Now, I just noticed, which happens, that now I see another comparison. They are both wearing shoes. So now what you would do is take your Venn diagram, put one side what SpongeBob has, one side what the Minion has, and then in the middle put what they both have so that you can compare and contrast them. Now, this knowledge that you've learned is going to be what we will be using in our class when we look at two different stories of Cinderella from different cultures and create a Venn diagram. So, I will see you guys in class. Have a good day.